To clear coat or not to clear coat? No, I always want to clear coat. So the real question must be, what product do I use? Well, let's find out. So what is a clear coat all about? When it comes to making latex weapons, if you leave latex raw, untreated with a sealant on top of it, it tends to dry out, and if it comes in contact with other latex, it can get very sticky and bond to other weapons, which makes one heck of a mess. So you don't want that. So what most people do when they're making latex weapons is they use some variety of clear coat. Now, the nicest latex stuff I've ever seen comes from over in Europe by handmade artisan products. Things like BC Expors and Freya. There's a lot of great manufacturers over there that make weapons that I only dream of being able to make. The clear coat they use overseas in the UK is called Isoflex Special Primer. Now, as far as I'm aware, we're not able to get that here in Canada. Some of the other products that even the American builders use are unavailable here in Canada, or you have to drive across the border and bring them up. Canada has a lot of restrictions with environmental laws and cancer-causing things, for good reason, obviously. Nobody wants cancer. Isoflex Special Primer is very messy. It's very smelly. You have to wear a lot of personal protective equipment to use it. So I've been experimenting for a couple of years now with some different products. Just recently I was working on a TV show and I met a fella named Murray. We got to talking and he mentioned that he makes cosplay and does armor with EVA foam. Of course, my ears perked up right away as I make weapons and armor, and we got to talking about different products and processes that we use. Murray has a company called Foam Friction. You can find him on Facebook. He makes absolutely wonderful armor. The clear coat that he used is a Krylon acrylic spray. He uses semi-gloss or matte depending on what he's doing. And he just sprays it on, and apparently it works great. Of course, we have no idea how that works on weapons because I've never tried it. What I have been doing is I've been using a product called Rust-Oleum Leak Seal, which works pretty good, but if you spray it on, it tends to go a little bit milky. And some people have said, you know, you got to shake it a lot, or it's got to be the right temperature, that kind of thing, but it's pretty finicky either way. So what I've been doing is spraying it into a lid and then hand brushing the product on. It dries almost instantly, which is great. I just do a nice little thin coat, and it usually looks good, but I still get these little milky patches every once in a while that distort the color of the latex. So I'm going to do some samples. I've got a number of different products. I think I've got 7 from, I've got some Plasti Dip and some Plasti Coat, some things I got at Canadian Tire, just general hardware stuff. And I've also got some Krylon clear. I've got some gloss we'll try out and see how it works. Okay, so we're going to test out 5 different products. As I said, the Rust-Oleum Leak Seal that I've been using for a while. I'm going to see if I can spray that on as well as brush a section, just so I can show the difference of how it works. We've got the Krylon Clear, this is a crystal clear gloss, Plasti Coat, which is a car color. Not sure how that's going to work. It should be flexible. Of course, Plasti Dip, which is very common. Across the border in the United States, you can get Plasti Dip for about sometimes $6-7 a can, or even cheaper when it's on sale. Up here in Canada, if I go to Home Depot to buy a can of Plasti Dip, first of all, they usually only have 1 or 2 colors, almost never clear. It's also $24 a can, which is insane. It's more expensive than any other spray product or spray paint on the shelf. And then we also have Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch Semi-Gloss Clear, which I believe is an acrylic spray, but it doesn't say specifically on it. But it does say it bonds to plastic, which means it should be somewhat flexible. The things we're going to look for is we want to make sure that it's not cracking, it's not creasing, and it's not changing the appearance of the latex product. I made up some samples just with some black and some wood grain just to see what we got while I was working on some weapons last night. And yeah, so I'll set these up on a board and we'll spray them up and see how it goes. Okay, so first impressions with the sprays. I'm actually quite surprised. Not surprised at all about the leak seal. As you can see, it's got a real milky kind of finish on it when you spray it on. And then this side I brushed. It's a little bit more clear, not as glossy. So the application of this isn't great. Basically, I throw away a brush every time I use the product. The Krylon acrylic went on super, super easy. Really nice and smooth, a nice fine spray, and it's nice and glossy. As well as the car color, the Plasticoat car color. Plastidip, as we know, is much more expensive. And just as a comparison, this can of Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch and the Plasticoat, well, the Painter's Touch was like $8. This is like $12 versus $23. The Plastidip doesn't go on as nice as these two products here, or the Painter's Touch. Painter's Touch went on a little bit smoother than the Plastidip, but I don't think it was quite as nice as the Krylon. The leak seal dries pretty much immediately. Krylon as well. Feels like the Plasticoat is still a little bit damp. Plastidip is a little bit rubbery. And the Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch, not too bad. So we'll give it a couple minutes just to cure up, and then we'll bend it and flex it and see what we get. So we'll just do a shine test here, starting with the leak seal. You see it's kind of a semi-gloss, almost matte finish, aside from the blurry side there. The gloss Krylon is almost like a mirror. And here we have the Plasticoat. Again, a really nice glossy finish. Depending on what you're making, you might want to go with something that's maybe a matte finish, depending on the texture you want. So this is Plastidip. It's got a fair sheen to it. Most of the, other than the leak seal, which is actually a spray rubber, most of them have pretty much the same shine. Alright, so here we get on to the final verdict. The Rust-Oleum leak seal failed, as far as I'm concerned, in every capacity, which is surprising because I thought it was working fairly well for me. Apparently it's not. The Krylon actually held up really, really well. As you can see, it's got a couple of creases and whatnot, but it looks really good. In each of these strips there is a fine slice to help basically show what happens with fine detail with clear coat. Often it cracks, which the Krylon did a little bit, but not really to a major noticeable degree. And the flexing and everything caused a little bit of creasing, but like I said, not too bad. The car coat by Plasticoat is held up really well. The creasing is really nice. It doesn't cause a lot of distortion to the finish, but it did crack along that micro slice. Plastidip, the clear winner as far as the look of the finish go. It didn't crack at all on the micro slice, and the foam is holding up really well to flexing and bending and twisting, which is great. The thing I don't like about Plastidip, aside from the price, is the fact that it does kind of have a little bit of a rubbery feel to it. So if you're most people will treat their latex weapons with a silicone spray to give it a lubricated surface, which is great, but when it starts to wear off, they will get sticky, whereas these other ones are quite smooth to the touch. And surprisingly, the Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch Ultra Cover is a really nice finish, but I think it's a little bit harder than some of the others. Because it cracked in a couple of places, not just on the micro seam. So yeah, other than that, don't really know much more to say. The Plasticoat car color actually seems to have held up the best. But again, it is a little bit harder. Yeah, honestly, I don't know what I'm going to use because I've got now so many cans of options. Oh, that little guy down there, that's my son Moses.
Hi!
Yeah, he likes getting in the videos whenever he can. We love him a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Please, please, please watch this video again.
You want them to watch it again?
Yeah, watch
Of
it
course.
twice, guys.
All right, so there's the verdict on these products. Don't buy Leak Seal. It's crap for this application. And the other ones are all available in most of your hardware stores. I'm going to try them on some of my own weapons and some custom products. So, we'll see how they hold up. And yeah, I'll get back to you in another video. Yes. One more thing. I know it's been a while since I put out my last video. I actually recorded enough footage for 3 or 4 videos over the summer, and had them all on my computer, ready in my editing software, and something happened and I lost a bunch of footage. So that's why it's been a while, but I wanted to get back at it, let you know that I didn't forget about you, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.